Goyette, Marshall left wing, Provo right wing. Fulford got a new stick, and he's ready for the fray. Many of this crowd standing up, nobody leaving, over 14,000. Olmsted runs into Provo before the puck is dropped. It's dropped. There's a flip shot. Bob caught it, and Mahavlich jammed into Johnson, and they looked at each other rather pugilistically. Minute and 5 seconds remaining. There, the clock shows a minute and 5 seconds. High down the north end. It goes to Eamon, a screen shot. Here's Fulford turning around. He backhands it around the net. Olmsted has it in the corner, gives it up. Screen shot. A loose puck at the side of the net. Now there are 55 seconds remaining in the third period. Eamon going into the corner to Dickie Duff. He's jammed out of the play. Goyette backhands it to the line, not out. Hires a screen shot. A loose puck in front. Another shot. And Fulford missed. Now into the corner to Olmsted. He gets it to the side of the net to Fulford. It rolls right to the goal crease. Plant is down, and he holds it out again. What action here in the dying seconds of this hockey game. And we have 34 seconds remaining. 5-3, Canadiens 5. 32 and a half seconds to be exact. Canadiens 5 and the Leafs 3. Armstrong is being sent out. And they're pulling out all the stops. Players leaning forward on their benches. Leafs below us and the Canadiens over on the other side. Koblake lifts his hat, puts it back on. 5-3, Canadiens 5 and the Leafs 3. Now, of course, in a tense situation as this, the players get a bit fractious and they skate out of position, and it's difficult to get them lined up for the face-off, and they're going to try it again. Now Johnson and Mahavlich spear each other. It's back to the point. Harris stopped it into the corner, off the boards to Bert Olmsted. He rolled it right back to the point. Eamon going in for the shot. A great save. A loose puck to the side of the net. Johnson clears it to the corner. 18 seconds to go. Olmsted and Provo in there. Fulford is bodying with Goyette as Olmsted and Provo shove each other. And Plant made a spectacular screen save on that quick push shot by Eamon as he went in from the right side. 17 seconds left. And that Leaf net is wide open, as it has been for the past 2 minutes and 13 seconds. 5-3, Canadiens 5 and the Leafs 3. Fulford is adjusting the tape on the blade of his stick. And it's getting awfully hot in here, and the tension is terrific. Olmsted pokes away at it. Now it's cleared in front. Doug Harvey fired it on the board, just rolled it out to kill time. There's Eamon. 8 seconds to go. He fires it up from the right side, and the crowd is beginning to roar. 3 seconds to go. Into the corner. Here's Harris. The game is over. Canadiens win the Stanley Cup. And the place is pandemonium. And the players in the crowd are down there congratulating Jacques Plante. He was hard-pressed there in the final seconds as the Leafs went all out to get the goals that would get them back into the hockey game. So they're milling about, and the players of both teams shaking hands. It was a grueling, bitter series, bitter from the point of view of hard play, good, clean series.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now give you the 3 stars for
and now, Gordie Howe, let's give that honor to you, the 3 stars.
Thank you, Danny. They're just announcing it now that Marcel and I got together and we figured the Canadiens deserved on the merit that it's their 4th cup in a row, plus Koblake's a man who has been steering them all the way and had to come through right over injuries in a great style, and then we have to pick up on the Toronto Maple Leafs, the 3rd star, for the fine effort in the closing part of the season. Also more or less an upset victory over Boston, and then the fine display which they showed here. They never did die. They had every opportunity in the world when losing 5-1, and right to the bitter end they put on a terrific battle.
Well, thank you very much, Gordie. And now that hockey is over for you, covering playoffs, I suppose that you'll get out west doing a little fishing.
Fishing and our favorite, golf. I see the Rockets just going to hold that cup. I hope in the near future, maybe I'll be at the other end of the camera, and as a matter of fact, this microphone, and maybe I can come up with the odd cup. right now, I'm looking forward to a fine summer. I know in my night they give me a set of clubs, and I'm going to make a lot of use of them this coming summer. Plus the fact that the family and I were looking forward to maybe a small vacation in Florida, which I also received. So I'm going to have myself a good time.
Gordie Howe, thank you very much.
Thank you, Danny.
And now, as Gordie has mentioned, Rocket Richard, Boom Boom Geoffrion taking the cup over toward the exit. It will finally wind up in the Montreal Canadiens dressing room, and the fans are milling about. An unprecedented fourth consecutive Stanley Cup for the Montreal Canadiens. Toe Blake has been coaching the team 4 years, 4 Stanley Cups. And lest we forget, I'd like to take this opportunity to personally extend to the Montreal Canadiens congratulations on their great feat. They did it again this year, as we say, 4 in a row. And to the Toronto Maple Leafs, congratulations for the excellent showing they made in this series. As Gordie Howe mentioned, it was a series that went right down to the final whistle. They were behind 5-1. They got 2 goals back in the fight, and it was an excellent series all the way. There the Canadiens are now going to their dressing room. Fans are milling about, and the Rocket, assisted by Geoffrion. Geoffrion was a big figure in the annexation of that Stanley Cup this year. There's Marcel Bonin, another fellow who had 10 goals. Mr. Selke, Senator Molson. There's a happy Toe Blake. Pocket Richard. So in just a few moments, they'll be whooping it up in the dressing room, and we're going to have a special treat for you, because I understand that there's Jacques Plante going in. He was just great tonight. And there I see Tom Foley getting ready with that microphone, and in a very few moments we'll be going down to Tom, and he'll be chatting with the players and the executive members. Frank, before we get to Toe, I took time out to extend congratulations to the Canadiens and the Leafs, and I'm sure that you'd like to do the same before we sign off from here.
Very much so, Danny. It's always nice to be with a winning club, but when you see the way those Maple Leafs came down to the wire here tonight, there isn't anyone who need feel any shame for that young club. And let me tell viewers and listeners everywhere, they are going to be a powerhouse in this league in the years to come. They died very, very hard here tonight. They met a team that had a little bit too much scoring power for them, and a goaltender who in the final analysis could make the big 4 or 5 saves in the last couple of minutes to pull the game out for his club. I think Canadians are worthy winners tonight, and the Toronto Maple Leafs, without any question, covered themselves with glory by winning the game. Now let's go down to the Montreal Canadiens dressing room to Tom Foley and René Lecavalier.
I don't know if anybody can hear me or not, but that's Boom Boom Geoffrion, as you see, with Phil Goyette, Marcel Bonin. Here is Frank Selke, and Frank, if you can raise your voice, congratulations, that's 4 in a row.
Thank you. I'm very happy for the team, and I want to congratulate the Toronto Maple Leafs for a wonderful series, Tom.
It was a very cleanly played series.
Yes, I think it's a credit to the 2 teams.
They really fought back even when they were behind 5-1 tonight.
I told you that at the end of the first period, didn't I?
I'm going to listen to these predictions of yours with the greatest of interest. Here is Senator Molson, the president of the Stanley Cup champions, an unprecedented 4 straight years, and I think the people want to get a good, uninterrupted look at the president of the club. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much. I can't say how happy I am at this record, getting it the 4th year in a row. I think we've got to hand it to the boys for coming up with that big one tonight.
Not only that, it doesn't look as if you're going to lose too many.
Well, we can always hope that we'll have another good season next year.
Senator, you have fans in both the French and English-speaking languages, and I'm going to ask my good friend René Lecavalier, the French play-by-play announcer, who will be seen for the first time this year by the English fans, to step in and have a few words for you in the French language.
Right. Thank you very much. Monsieur le Sénateur, toutes mes félicitations les plus sincères. Je sais que vous êtes très heureux.
Oh oui, je suis très content, très heureux. Merci beaucoup.
Et je sais que vous êtes très fiers de vos joueurs aussi.
Oh oui, ils ont joué très, très bien ce soir. Ils ont gagné une belle joute et je suis très heureux.
Vous avez également accompagné l'équipe à l'étranger. Vous avez participé à tous les jeux, en quelque sorte.
Pendant les jeux de la Coupe Stanley, oui.
Encore une fois, beaucoup de succès dans l'avenir et toutes mes félicitations.
Merci beaucoup.
Au revoir, monsieur. Eh bien, une des figures dominantes des 3 dernières parties, ça, c'est un gars content. Le Boomer qui était malade il y a quelques semaines encore et qui, ce soir, a été merveilleux. Tout le monde est content pour toi et on te félicite.
Merci, René, merci, t'es bien aimable. Je suis très content d'avoir gagné. Puis je voudrais féliciter tous les partisans qui ont bien voulu encourager le club canadien, ainsi que m'encourager. Merci beaucoup.
Peux-tu dire un petit mot en anglais aussi pour l'auditoire national?
Sure, I'm very happy to win that cup, not only for me, but for all the team and all the sports in Montreal, and especially for Toe. It's a sport, and that's a big record, and I don't think anybody can beat that record. I'm very happy, and I want to thank everybody to really support us tonight.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Rennie, I have the scoring champion, Dickie Moore. Dickie, this, I guess, is your greatest season.
That's for sure, Tom. It's a wonderful evening tonight to end up like this for the 4th Stanley Cup in a row.
You won't know what to get excited about. Winning that scoring title, you'll probably be an all-star winning the Stanley Cup. Dick, was this tougher than Boston last year?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Toronto put up a good fight, but I think Boston were a little tougher last year.
It's a better hockey club that you have this year.
I think the boys, we are just about the same. Of course, without John Rocket, we are missing 2 pretty good hockey players. It's too bad that they couldn't be with us, but I know they were with just as much. I guess they're more nervous than us than on the ice, sitting up there.
Dick, may see you next year at the same time, same place.
Thank you, Tom. Dick, de la part des admirateurs canadiens-français aussi,
Oui.
toutes nos félicitations.
Merci beaucoup,
Après tant
René.
de succès, une si belle année.
Merci.
Au revoir. Et maintenant, Toe Blake. Un instant, Henri. Toe Blake, ça, c'est un des hommes les plus heureux au monde. Et je veux d'abord te féliciter et te remercier pour tout le plaisir que tu nous as donné, à nous, les amateurs de hockey, les commentateurs. Ça nous a rendu la tâche tellement facile et agréable.
Merci, René. J'ai jamais été si content de toute ma vie pour avoir gagné ce championnat pour la 4e fois. J'aimerais remercier tous ceux qui nous ont aidés, la direction des Canadiens, mais c'est surtout les joueurs. C'est les autres qui l'ont gagné, René.
Oui, mais il y a une chose certaine, c'est que lorsque, à la dernière partie, on s'est aperçu que le club, quand Toronto a pris les devants, tout de suite, le Canadien a connu une poussée vraiment vertigineuse. C'est parce que c'est un club inspiré qui jouait pour un grand coach. Et c'est la première fois dans la Ligue nationale que ça se produit, que le même homme gagne 4 Coupes Stanley d'affilée.
René, j'aimerais prendre cette occasion pour féliciter les 2 clubs qu'on a joué contre.
Oui.
Ils ont bataillé tout le temps. Et la série, les 2 séries ont été très rudes.
Merci mille fois, Toe. Je sais que Tom veut te dire un mot en anglais, alors.
Hey, I've got a matinee idol here. This, believe it or not, is Doug Harvey. Doug, you had a great series. Congratulations.
Thanks, Tom.
What are your plans for the summer?
Oh, I'm going to play a little golf and do a little work, Tom.
Little fishing?
I hope so, yes.
Play another 5 years?
I would like to, yes, Tom.
Doug, I hope you do. This was a good final. Was it better than last year?
It was around the same, I'd say, Tom. We got an early jump tonight, and that helped us a little bit, so we took it a little easier, it looked like.
Doug, congratulations. We'll let you go and finish that shower, which you were halfway along. Toe, this is quite a thing. I don't know whether anybody will ever win 4 straight Stanley Cups again, and you might win 5.
Well, it'll at least take them 5 years to break it, Tom. And I've never been so happy in all my life. I've never been so proud of a team. And I've got plenty to be thankful, but at the same time, I would like to congratulate the 2 teams that we played against. That was Chicago and the Maple Leafs, of course. They never quit, even with the 5-1 score that we had tonight. You saw what happened, and Punch Imlach and certainly deserves a lot of credit for bringing that team around like that.
Will you make one prediction? Where will you finish next year?
You know I never make any predictions.
All right, Toe, congratulations. Back to Rennie.
Thank you, Tom. Eh bien, une autre des figures dominantes de ce match, Jacques Plante, qui compte 4 Coupes Stanley. 5 Coupes Stanley depuis son arrivée avec le Canadien et 4 trophées Vézina de suite. Et là, on t'a fait la vie dure vraiment à la fin. Je ne sais pas comment tu as pu bloquer autant de lancers qui venaient de toutes parts.
Eh bien, je m'attendais à être au bon endroit au bon moment. Et j'espère que ce ne sera pas la dernière fois que nous allons remporter cette coupe parce que réellement, c'est un drill qui se répète à chaque année que nous la gagnons. Et aujourd'hui, même si c'est la 5e fois que je l'emporte, eh bien, je ne peux pas croire que c'est terminé.
Eh bien, tout le monde est très fier de toi. Tu as connu une saison merveilleuse et on t'en souhaite plusieurs autres. Alors maintenant, bonnes vacances et encore une fois, toutes nos félicitations les plus sincères.
Merci beaucoup, René.
Maintenant, un autre joueur. Bien, avant de passer à bonheur, voici mon ami Tom.
Merci, Rene. And here's the rookie at the halfway mark, probably the end of the year, Ralph Backstrom. Memorial Cup, Stanley Cup, what's next?
I don't know, Tom. Maybe it's a trip to the moon. Who knows?
Well, I know this. I'll bet you things are bouncing on Kirkland Lake tonight.
I hope so, Tom. I'd like to say hello to everybody up there, and I'll see you in a few weeks.
Well, Ralph, no doubt they'll see you back here in the National Hockey League next year. You had a great year, a great season, and in the playoffs, particularly outstanding.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Thanks very much, Ralph Backstrom. Ready? Who have you got next?
Comme on dit, il y a des gens qui vont danser dans les rues de Kirkland Lake ce soir. La ville natale de... Eh bien, Joliette aussi. Oui. J'espère. Ça, c'est un autre gars qui est content, qui a travaillé très fort, qui a eu énormément de succès, avec 10 buts, le 10e ce soir.
Ah oui, on dira pas ça de moi, hein, Lenny.
Et un superbe but. Alors maintenant, je suppose que tu vas jouer un petit peu de golf cet été.
Oui, Lenny.
Faire un voyage en Floride. Non, es-tu un de ces chanceux?
Non, Lenny, je me construis à Joliette.
Bon.
Je vais voir à ma maison.
Bien, encore une fois, écoute, toutes nos félicitations.
Merci beaucoup.
Pour le beau travail. Cette autre Coupe Stanley remportée par toi et les tiens.
Merci.
Bon été.
Merci beaucoup.
Et reviens en pleine forme.
Ah, merci.
Au revoir.
Bonjour.
Ernie, here's Donnie Marshall that won't kill another penalty till next October.
Well, that's good because it's pretty tough out there with those Leafs.
Don, you know, you're a great goal scorer, too. Does it bother you to be in the role of a penalty killer?
No, I like killing penalties, but I like to get the chance to score the goals, too, because, I don't know, it just feels good when that puck goes in the net. But we got so many guys who score the goals, you got to sit there and watch.
It must be a great satisfaction to make that contribution to this 4 straight Stanley Cup championship team.
It's a tough job, but I'm glad to do it.
What are your plans for the summer?
Well, first of all, I'm taking a holiday with some of the fellows. We might go down to North Carolina and play golf or perhaps to Bermuda. But in the summer, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to work, though. But
well,
take it easy.
Donnie, we'll see you back here next fall. You'll be ready for several years yet.
I sure hope so. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you very much, Donnie Marshall. And here, the Stanley Cup is over here to my right. I hope you can see it. The players are all gathered around it. This is Marcel Bonan here, Dickie Moore in the background. He's grabbing Henri Richard by the hair. Jacques Claude is now shoving Henri Richard into the cup. And in this scene of hilarity and excitement, the Stanley Cup championship team for the 4th consecutive year celebrates an all-time hockey record, and that winds up our dressing room interviews with the Montreal Canadiens and another season of NHL hockey.
Who put the confidence in Mrs. Murphy's motor? Nobody answered, so we called it all the louder. Who put the confidence in Mrs. Murphy's motor?
New Esso Extra, the great new motor oil. Esso Extra motor oil was designed by Imperial Oil Research to meet the more exacting requirements of modern motors. Esso Extra motor oil was tested under high speeds for endurance, tested for clean running performance, tested through hundreds of thousands of miles of actual driving. Extra active, extra clean. The new measure of confidence in modern motors. Change over to new Esso Extra motor oil, now at Imperial Esso dealers everywhere.
When I say you can always look to Imperial for the best, I mean for the best in everything. In service and in products like this. New Esso Extra motor oil, the cleanest, most active oil made for today's high compression engines. Ask your Imperial Esso dealer about it. Esso Extra motor oil, newest in the Imperial family of top quality petroleum products. Finest products for your car.
Frank Selke Jr. up on the catwalk with Danny Gallivan. The end of a great season, a thrilling finish, and one in which I think a great many people here in Montreal are very, very happy. The Canadiens won it 5-3, their 4th Stanley Cup in as many years. They have now won 11 times in their 50-year history, and I think that is something that they can be very proud of. Up here on the catwalk working all year with Danny Gallivan has been an extreme pleasure to me, and I think that Danny, just before we go, would you like to say goodnight to the hockey fans across the country till next season?
I'd like to say goodnight, but before I do that, Frank, I want to take this opportunity to pass along my appreciation to you and to Bill Armstrong for the able assistance that you two have given me throughout the year. It's been an extreme pleasure working with you gentlemen, and we trust that the viewers and the radio audience enjoyed our efforts. I want to say so long until next October.
Thank you very much, Dan. Looking down at the ice, and it's being cleaned up for perhaps the last time this year. All the hilarity in the Canadiens dressing room. We have an empty building here, and it's going to be this way for hockey until next September. But we have some terrific memories of a tremendous playoff series here, and I think and hope that people all across the country have enjoyed these telecasts very, very much. So until next year, on behalf of Danny Gallivan, Tom Foley, and all of the crew, Frank Selke Jr. saying good night from the Montreal Forum.
As we end another season, Imperial Esso dealers and agents all across Canada hope that in bringing you the hockey telecasts, they have added to your viewing pleasure. We hope, too, that we may have the opportunity of adding to your driving pleasure, especially during the summer months ahead. We thank all the viewers who took the time to write to us. We appreciate your many helpful comments. Wherever you drive, remember that the familiar Esso oval means top quality products and service. Everything for happy and confident motoring. Always look to Imperial for the best.
Something you're aware of, your cardsman